Hello and welcome to the Soul School podcast, where we have somebody very special with us. You must have definitely seen her on Instagram. She is none other than Mansi Podar, who brings in 15 years of experience as a psychologist. Mansi, 15 years you've been doing this. मुझे तो 15 महीने भी नहीं हुए हैं and I already feel the weight. So why psychology and why 15 years? How has the journey been?
Honestly, firstly, Gauri, thank you for inviting me. And secondly, wow, such a great question. I should actually reflect on it for my personal life also. I was called to this profession. I strongly believe that. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think of helping people or changing the world. I was in journalism and I was horrible at it. And I was good at the writing aspect, but covering stories at 4 a.m., not my thing. Then I went to fashion school. So I was all over the place in my early 20s and in my younger days. And fashion school was a disaster. I have zero fashion sense. So that's where I realized that maybe my calling is something else. Because a lot of the students in my school would come and have conversations with me. And I would be sitting somewhere and I spent a lot of time by myself. A lot of people would talk to me. So my turning point came when I saw a therapist at the age of 23. And I realized, oh my God, I love this. I love this process so much. And she told me that, Mansi, have you ever thought of studying therapy? I said, no, but here we are. I did study it and now I'm doing it and I can't imagine doing anything else. Not that I have the skill set also to do anything else.
My God, Mansi, are we soul sisters? Because literally, I am a journalism graduate myself from IMC and, DU. My mother has gone to a polytechnic, like she is a fashion designer. So I get
Oh,
my
wow.
answers and everything from her. I think we are some fall-on sisters. And trust me on this, healing is a calling. पता नहीं आप मुझसे 5 साल पहले पूछते कि गौरी, would you be a healer or a therapist? I would be like, I won't even take therapy. But taking therapy at the age of 23 only, it really changed my life. When I got my first panic attack, when my family separated, and then, my own personal relationship issues. Last year, when I took NLP, this year, when I took Bharti Ma'am's course, to where I am today, like I am specializing in the modality of inner child healing. It's just amazing. But,
Oh, I love that.
it's like, what we're doing is we're saving people from themselves, because trust me on this, Mansi, people are dangerous, and not to each other but first to themselves, with the like harshest critic. I'm sure you would have cracked amazing stories, but abhi aap, चाहे आपको सोसाइटी ने humbly सिखाया हो अपने काम को डिस्कार्ड करना, या genuinely आपको खुशी नहीं होती होगी, but if I ask,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel being a therapist? I'm sure your answer will be that you feel sparkling, and you know that you have some great client testimonials under your belt, which is why you continue to do what you're doing for 15 years. 15 years is a long time. I mean, 15 years
Absolutely.
to a job, committing to a person, committing to your own self for this long, it's very tough. So when I raise the concept of safety, I
Yeah.
personally feel that whenever clients come to me, they come at the root chakra, okay, where they're very
Mm-hmm.
distraught with themselves. They
Okay.
somebody who's like an editor level person, has led bureaus, is coming at the age of probably 40, and great wife, great kid, but is just like all over the place, that I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing in life. And there are people like you and I who are pretty young. I don't think we have touched 40. I definitely haven't, and I'm sure you haven't too. You don't look like you're even
Actually, I have.
within
I am
20.
about going to turn 45, but
I
okay.
can't say that because your
Yeah.
face is exactly 32. Like, अगर मैं बिल्कुल ही
Mm-hmm.
face age बताऊं, but I mean, let us go back to you starting the process of being a therapist. Okay, what was your first case, and how was this person being unsafe to themselves?
Well, that's interesting you ask me that because the first time I saw a client, I had a panic attack and I was horrified. Oh my God. I did all this education, worked so hard only to meet my first client and have a panic attack. And she said, hey, I know you're an intern. I know this is your first session. So don't worry. I'm not running away. Take your time. And I said, oh my God, this gets even worse.
Yeah.
So That's my first client who stayed with me for a year. And of course, thankfully, I didn't have a panic attack after that. But my first client was this. And I would say instead of her not feeling safe, I wasn't feeling safe. So that was my introduction to what lack of safety can look like and what unnecessary threat perception, internal and external, can manifest as.
So, Mansi, coming to your modality, what is it that you use with your clients? Is it a mix of things, or are you following the clinical procedure of what we call as cognitive behavioral therapy, or is there something else in the market that you've specialized in?
So I'm trained in CBT actually, and Rogerian work and existentialist work, but I work in somatic.
Okay.
I work a lot with compassionate inquiry. I work a lot with narrative therapy, and I'm also an internal family systems informed practitioner.
Wow.
So I utilize that. And also I do a lot of trauma work. So I'm studying with Janina Fisher right now, completed level 1, have 2 more to go. So a lot of body work, parts work, working on affect, which is emotions, things like that.
So, like diverging from our, main topic to a little bit of your own journey, how has therapy changed over the 15 years you've been practicing? And, before that, what was the perception? Of course, the perception was कि अच्छा जाके बात करनी है, open up करना है. But today, you're talking about, and what I am also witnessing is that there's a lot of body work that is involved. People are paying to be away from their phones. People are paying to talk to more people. So in the form, physical activity and networking has become the core of therapy, at least these days, and what I'm seeing in the Indian urban cosmopolitan setup.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, can you just take me through that journey? Because in the middle, I can tell you that there is a portion of astrologers, tarots, priests, of both religions, Hinduism, Muslim, even fathers for that aspect, the confessions that happen, maybe like a Sikh guru as well, all your Buddhists and Jains and Brahma Kumaris, they also come into the whole healing ecosystem where you and I are a part of,
Yeah.
The end goal is for a person to realize their own worth, to love themselves a little more, to be compassionate, to leave the world a little untraumatized from what they entered as. So, like, just decluttering the question, because there are a lot of aspects to it. How has therapy changed over the years? And where do you see it going? Is something that you can continue with, or we can, catch that question. But how have you seen it transition?
Right. So when I got into the field, I had to do a lot of psychoeducation, which is help people understand what is therapy. A lot of people thought they would come, I would have some instruments, I could read their minds, the typical things that people faced. And people believed about psychotherapy and mental health. People didn't focus on mental health as much. They came to me for advice. They came to me for venting. So they would just share things and say, "Ab aap boliye kya?" But therapy doesn't really work like that. And now I've noticed that over the years, because of Insta therapy, Instagram, and all of that, people have begun to realize that therapy is so much deeper, so much more. They message me and say, I want an IFS practitioner, which is internal family systems. I want somebody who does DBT, which is dialectical behavior therapy. So people are becoming aware of what therapy is. And most of my clients, at least, are very willing to do somatic work, which initially I used to have to explain a lot about. Why I'm doing grounding, why I'm doing orienting, why are we going into the body? But it's become deeper. It's become more fulfilling, actually, because a lot of the consumers of psychotherapy are well informed.
No, that's the special part of it, because let me compare this to allopathy. So suppose you have a fever, you can tell the doctor कि मैं paracetamol लेकर आई हूँ, या फिर मेरे लिए ये करता है, maybe I'm allergic to, penicillin. So the doctor already knows what to work on. So this is the kind of awareness and clarity that now mental health patients are bringing on the table. And allow me to say that now people do not come to a therapist after a panic attack or after the first signs of, physical manifestation of their mental traumas. They're coming the minute they feel there's a problem. They're coming the minute they feel that something on Instagram has resonated, which is good. because prevention is absolutely better than cure. But
The earlier you start therapy, the better it is. Because you don't have to wait for a problem to turn into a full-blown crisis, because that throws the nervous system off. And then we have to go down the route of stabilization through medication, and you know how it can get. So it's better when you feel something is not feeling right inside to consult somebody. Maybe you need 3 or 4 sessions. I have a lot of clients like that.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I have heard stories of one session changing somebody's life. One person
Yeah.
going for a past life regression and immediately understanding why they are not aligned with their mother. Happened in the past birth. So I can share that when I felt unsafe was the first time my family was breaking up. The second time I felt unsafe was when I was away from home and it was winters. So psychiatrically, they called that seasonal depression, which is the SAD phenomenon.
Yeah.
So, an interesting story there. I was taking the medication. I was being diligent on my recovery. Okay, vitamin D, B12, a sleep med, an anxiety med. Because मैं सुबह उठते मुझे palpitations होते थे. I used to wake up in sweat, and it was January, and I had like my heartbeat कि मुझे लगता था मुझे heart attack आ रहा है, and it's very scary. No matter how much people want to harm themselves, it's very scary when you touch the brink of death or you have that feeling, right? It's the same feeling as
Absolutely.
me trying to fall from the chair and stabilizing myself, हमारा reflex बहुत fast होता है उस चीज में. So by then I was living with my ex-boyfriend, and he was my safe space until I just randomly stumbled upon his phone and I saw that he was chatting with somebody else after I slept off at probably a 10 and 11. And it just rattled me. And he had a panic attack after I confronted him. So I took him to the doctor, and then the doctors, and उस केस में ना मुझे बुरा क्या लगा कि मुझे अपने लिए मांगना पड़ा कि मुझे डॉक्टर के पास जाना है कि आप मुझे लेकर चलो. बट उसके केस में आई वॉज देयर एज अ मदर टू हैंड होल्ड हिम एंड टेक हिम, एंड ही डिड नॉट फॉलो थ्रू द मेडिकेशन बिकॉज ही डजंट बिलीव इन द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ थेरेपी. ही थिंक्स वॉचिंग नारुतो कैन फिक्स हिम. सो एंड उसने बचपन में उसके पेरेंट्स वगैरह सब सही थे एंड एवरीथिंग. So he does not believe in the concept of therapy. When I tried couples therapy with him, with my mentor, he said कि अच्छा जाके बकचोदी तो करनी है ना, sorry for my French, but yeah, that is
No, it's okay.
So that is when I picked myself up and promised myself I will never take a medicine again. And it got worse by the time I reached a TV channel, because their environment is known for causing people trauma.
It's very high stress. Yeah.
It is very high stress. Like, I have worked in another high stress environment, but still the team was good. The editor was good. Your manager can really define if you can last in an organization. And the way you changed your career, even I got that calling because I was hopping jobs every 6 months. And then my hypnotherapist made me realize that, I was hopping jobs in order to achieve marks. वो 9 years की बच्ची operate कर रही है out of me, which is why inner child healing is so close to me. I have tried somatic workouts with Pallavi Bandwal. There was an intimacy workshop, and पता है हम क्या expect कर रहे थे कि she'll teach us good techniques to touch ourselves, to be intimate to our partners. कुछ नहीं, only knowing ourselves, touching ourselves in different places, somatic, pat releases. It was such an amazing experience that I wanted to specialize then and there. I was searching for a coach and everything. And I have seen that, I'm sure that even you have a mentor above you who really, helps you impress, because it gets very jarring at times. You do your NLPs, like I did this in the morning only. I did my burning bowl and then I left, and I like to take a bath whenever I, come back from a meeting or something with Epsom salt and everything. But, coming back to the question of safety, some people feel safe for a duration of time. Okay, like one of my potential clients, he said कि मैं रोहतक जाऊंगा, मैं ठीक हो जाऊंगा, मेरे को थेरेपी की जरूरत नहीं है. But I'm sure the minute he comes back to Gurgaon, he will come in touch with either me or somebody else. So safety is a concept, but it is also an experience. And how do people, realize that they are safe in therapy? Because I'm sure this client of yours, when you were an intern, made you feel safe. But how can you stay in the feeling of safety rather than, going to different people? Because I also see people chronically change their therapists.
Yes, that is very common in our field, therapist shopping, as we call it. But there is more to it than just safety in that case. And I'm sure that, that'll be a whole different conversation. So let me address your question as to, what is safety? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes, if it's a concept or it's an experience.
Yeah.
in the terms of therapy, what do you define safety as? Like, how can you see that a person is feeling safe in their own skin or like among their family? Because then is where the narcissism comes in, and as a society,
Hmm.
maybe is he impacted unsafely by his office environment? Because safety is not just physical, it's also mental safety, emotional safety.
So I would say that safety generally starts in the body. We have a concept of safety, and then there is the body experience of safety, which we call embodiment. So our goal as therapists and healers is to help people move from, oh, with this person I feel safe, to really understanding what their body feels. Because when I work with the body, I notice that people might think they are feeling safe, but physically they don't experience safety. So the goal is always to move from thinking to experiencing. Now, if you want, I can give you some signs of what safety feels like in the body.
I'd love to.
So, yeah. So this will make it really simple for people who are watching this. There are physical signs, there are nervous system cues, there are emotional cues, and there are relational qualities. These are the 4 domains of where we feel safe. So if you want later on, we can get into more details, but these are the 4 domains. So relationships mein, emotionally, physically, and nervous system. These are the areas we look at when we look at safety.
No, absolutely, Mansi. And I can bring this realization that, even though we work in different modalities, we are in a way coaches, because kya 4 pillars in life ke health, relationship, career, money. Today only I was giving an analogy that they are Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughan. Okay. So Lakshman is probably your relationships. And when they go to Ayodhya, only career and money is left, Bharat and Shatrughan. So they might be at a 10, but your health and relationship will be probably at like a 5, or even in some cases 0 or minus. Their marks themselves. And the minute they come together in Ayodhya, which is your body, they are happy. And who brings them together? It's the therapist's job. So you and I are like Hanuman, who bring back and bring
I
back
love that.
Rajya and everything. So health, relationship, career, money, these 4 things need to be in place in order for us to feel safe, okay? And also to mitigate the chaos, because people come to you with chaos. They might come to you कि मेरे partner ने मुझ पे cheat कर दिया. They might come to you that मेरी शादी नहीं हो रही है, या फिर मुझे जॉब पे सिक्योर नहीं फील हो रहा है, या मुझे ये नहीं पता मैं सुबह क्यों उठ रहा हूँ या उठ रही हूँ. What is the purpose of my life? Like they feel chaotic in all their spectrums. So what do you define chaos as? What are some case studies of chaos that you've come across? And what is the Nivaran here? Like, what is your Sanjeevani booty when it comes to chaos?
So chaos can be created by people in our lives, by systems in our lives like religion, government, things like that. It can be an internal creation. So I would like to say that all the people who come in, they don't create the chaos. Sometimes their lives hold chaos that is created externally. So I'll talk a little bit about internal chaos. Now, how I define it is when the mind, body, spirit are all separate. Things are not in alignment. अंदर में कुछ feel हो रहा है, mind में कुछ और चल रहा है. It's very conflicting, confusing, and the behavior is something else. So I love my partner, but I feel angry at them. I think I shouldn't yell, but I go beat them up. Then I feel shame and guilt. Then the partner's yelling at me. Then I feel small. Then something happens. So do you see how chaos can be created? And a lot of people are, I won't use the word addicted, but drawn to chaos because their nervous systems are used to it. Maybe they grew up in a very chaotic home where nothing was organized, things were not in their order, they had no physical space, privacy, boundaries, people were yelling, shouting, there was conflict, unpredictability, you never know when the parent would come and hit you. For a lot of people, they don't know when they would be neglected, when they would be loved, when they would be hated on. So they grew up in environments which they find very familiar and are drawn to. So I would look at it like that.
No, you've raised a very pertinent point that people search for chaos, okay? I have seen in relationship patterns, we attract our own fathers and mothers. So if your father was a chaotic person, if your father was very dependent on their mother, if your father did not take care about fitness, you will manifest these qualities in your partner. So unless and until you're actually aware that you want these qualities not to be there in your partner, so I have been told to make a checklist and manifest this checklist for law of attraction, Like you should know what kind of money you want, what kind of house you want. If you don't know the specifics, the universe is a Swiggy dark store or like a Zomato dark store, Blinkit one, or any other app there is. एंड उसमें से अगर आपको स्पेसिफिक पता ही नहीं कि आपको कौन सा बिरयानी का फ्लेवर खाना है, उसके साथ दही कैसा चाहिए, सालन कैसा चाहिए, then you can tell the waiter कि कुछ भी ले आओ, and waiter can give you like any dish which you might not be eating. Maybe I'm a vegetarian and they give me like a chicken gosht. So मेरे लिए that chicken gosht is shit. I don't want to eat it. So people attract chaos. People don't know what they want. And that is, where their lives become unpredictable. Now, the election of a leader might not be in your or my hand because it's not just your or my choice. It's the choice of a collective population of probably the US or India. Like Indians का तो कोई रोल नहीं था US के इलेक्शन में. हमने तो नहीं वोट किया जाके ट्रम्प के लिए, but उसके टैरिफ्स हमको इम्पैक्ट करने वाले हैं. So these are external changes, and you and I as journalists have been impacted by these external changes, right? So understanding chaos, I do understand, is something which can, get a little bit of probability and predictability into patterns. Like the minute I realize that this is what triggers me, I can at least remove those triggers or, take deep breaths, do box breathing. I remember one of the people I was speaking to was a journalist. This journalist had a panic attack because there was a lot of wires that were coming in. So I just sent him like a 2-minute recording of box breathing, like, breathe 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4. And he instantly felt better. Like 2 minutes baad uska message aata hai ki Gauri, thank you so much for doing this for me because I instantly feel better. So chaos can be external, chaos can be internal, but if somebody is coming to you like with a lot of chaos in their bag, right? आपको इनकी एनर्जी सेंस इस पॉइंट तक 15 साल I'm sure आप एनर्जी कर ही रहते होगे. So how does it work? What are the steps that you take for a chaotic client?
So I would not actually define people as chaotic. I stay away from these definitions. See, most of us who are in therapy have struggled at some point. There are trauma histories, there's intergenerational trauma, there's systemic oppression. There's a lot of things that go into creating a human being and their mind. So I don't know who said this, I forgot. I think it was Gabor Mate, that, we have this idea that our minds create the world. But he says that before our minds create the world creates our minds. So I really like this. So I look at it from a different lens. I look at how has the world, their parenting, how has the Dadaji, Dadiji, Nana, Nani, all of this impacted this person. So it's a very systemic approach, and chaos is something that I actually don't look with you. Until there is a lot of, like if a relationship is very chaotic, then I would look at, okay, what is creating and sustaining the chaos? But again, I come from the lens of externalization. What is going on for this person in their families, in their lives, financially, health-wise, that sustains and creates these difficulties. So I think the word difficulties resonates more with me.
Definitely. And we, touched upon the fact that people are looking for familiarity and not for safety. Because,
yes,
like, I know that the Mario game will have somebody attacking me, but if I've played it like 5 or 50 times, I know कब shoot करना है. I know किस level पे कौन सा dragon आएगा and किस tunnel में जाकर कौन सा gold unlock होता है. So this is how mind functions. It likes some kind of schedule, some kind of routine, which is why
absolutely.
BTs I went to, they always told me to make a schedule कि 7 o'clock उठना है तो 7 ही उठना है. आप 8 भी उठो बट 8 ही उठो. ये नहीं कि एक दिन योर बॉडी इज थ्रोन ऑफ एट 4 AM, एक दिन आप 9 बजे उठ रहे हो. यू हैव टू हैव अ रूटीन, ओके? एंड दैट्स हाउ पीपल आर फंक्शनल. Like even the CEOs, they wake up at 4, they have a head start to the day, they bathe a certain time, they eat a certain breakfast. I know somebody in my family who only eats milk and oats for breakfast. आप उनको ऑमलेट नहीं खिला सकते, पोहा नहीं खिला सकते, रोटी नहीं खिला सकते. He will need his oats and milk because it creates a familiarity that, this is the routine, and that is probably brushing the teeth for some of us. Then what we do is we do habit stacking in NLP, where we tell people,
Yeah.
कि अच्छा आप मिरर में ब्रश कर रहे हो, आई लव यू बोल के मुंह धोना, या फिर मुंह धोने के बाद आई लव यू बोलना, बट स्टैक दैट हैबिट. Maybe with my bathing, I play, very pepped up music. So it just sets my energy for the day. Maybe I can club my, certain meeting schedule with a gym routine, or
Yeah.
maybe like walking my cat or something like that. So this is the kind of routine that really helps people. So you have to cut toxic familiarity, I understand, as a therapist. Okay. And you also have to somehow teach them not to attract chaos, or to minimize the impact of chaos if it is external.
Mhm.
Internally थोड़ा शांति देना होता है, which is why we do meditation, somaticism. मतलब वो एक
Mhm.
अल्लाह तक पहुंचने के बहुत सारे रास्ते, एक मालिक तक पहुंचने के.
Absolutely.
So उस केस में आप कैसे you take that approach, and what is your perspective, or what is your understanding with your experience and your upgradation as well. You can throw light on that.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to reframe the question a little bit.
So Mansi, my next question to you is, we try to break the toxic familiarity for our clients. We also try
Mhm.
to mitigate internal chaos and minimize the impact that external chaos can have on their lives. So how is your approach in these two aspects?
So I do a lot of parts work and inner child work. I understand the relationship a client has to this chaos. And of course, we unpack the word chaos and understand what exactly we are dealing with. So, for example, if somebody is self-critical and they cannot function because of self-criticism, I will never say, so this, why you self-critical? I will say this part of you that criticizes you. So internally, there is a relationship with that part. Much like the inner child. How old is this part? Where did you learn to criticize yourself? Whose voice is it? So, we go down a line of very deep inquiry, and then we work on how do we support these parts of ourselves. So that's how I really work with this person. So each, in a way, if you want to say, use the word symptom, like a panic attack, or somebody is, getting angry, drinking. So all of these aspects, emotions, behaviors, we look at it as communication from a part of you that hasn't been given a voice, that hasn't been explored, that hasn't been seen. So in turn, we develop a relationship with all these things, and we can look at it from, a more meta way, which is from the wise mind, from a more composed, curious way. So the minute we make the nervous system move from the problem and the chaos, we move into wise mind, to curiosity. So chaos to curiosity. Really, that is the journey that I would take with a client.
It's so beautifully put, because one of my most favorite series is Ted Lasso, where he talks about judgmental people are basically lacking curiosity. Like they don't ask like this, they actually judge a person, because what we do is we are programmed for survival as a species.
Yeah.
हम 30 seconds में एक इंसान को analyze करते हैं. अच्छा, मानसी looks fair, a little plump. She is, she is probably like a rabbit, and she is probably, we can associate like an animal, and we can say that, she's safe. And this is some activity that I've seen with a lot of, people who name others. Ki, Acha, I resonate with the panda. I resonate with the lion. I resonate with this or that, There are so many of these internet activities. But which brings me to my next question. When I talk of the internet, there are aspects of therapy which are now being replaced by AI, okay? Which can be chatbots, which can be people talking to ChatGPT. So I'll tell you a very interesting example. Today I was crossing Horskhas for my meeting in Gurgaon. एंड एक चीज आप ध्यान रख लो, अगर किसी को एडवर्टाइजिंग करनी है ना स्प्लैश के साथ, वो एक बिलबोर्ड हौस खास पे लगाएगा, बिकॉज पीपल आर पासिंग थ्रू दैट, एंड गुड़गांव इज अ हाई परचेज मार्केट्स, एंड दिल्ली में भी पॉश एरिया आपका मालवीय नगर वाला ही पड़ता है, खान मार्केट, मालवीय नगर, हौस खास.
अच्छा.
सो वहां पर चैट जीपीटी का एक प्रॉम्प्ट था वेयर इट वाज आस्किंग, is this career which I have good for me? What are 10 ways I can do to enjoy myself? And these are personal questions. Now, it doesn't really, it's fine if they want to advertise this, but then Sam Altman has said that, ChatGPT is not a good therapist because you and I sign an NDA. You and I signed a consent form. We are legally protecting as well as protecting ourselves and the client from any repercussions whenever there is therapy. But ChatGPT's data can be invoked in the court in any case, probably of pedophilia, murder, any other kind of assault, you know. So, what is your understanding of the clients who come to you? Because I'm sure ye jo this Gen Z and Gen Alpha that is coming in, it's a generation that was born between iPads and iPhones. And this generation is taken to ChatGPT like we took to Google search. So, what is your experience as a therapist? What is ChatGPT undoing for you? Because I'm sure this is a VC study which I'm talking about. 2038 तक आपके और मेरे प्रोफेशन को AI हाथ नहीं लगा सकता because that human touch cannot be replaced. But still, what are some challenges that you're facing with AI? And maybe how AI is helping you in your operations?
Right. So that's a very interesting question because I feel that, we need to again get curious as to why are people logging into AI? Why are they talking their personal stuff? And let's be honest here, people are lonely. And people are losing hope in relationships, in friendships, in humanity. We're not able to hold space for each other. How many times are we going out with a friend who suddenly says, "Ek call lena hai," and on their phone? Or suddenly they're like, "Oh my God, did you see this?" And you're telling them, "Oh, my Dadaji just died." So do you see the lack of attunement that is present? ChatGPT attunes to you in its own messed up way, but it does. It gives you an artificial sense that somebody is there at 11 in the night, 1 in the night. And personally, I don't feel that is the best way to navigate loneliness. And especially for teenagers, I recommend all parents check teenagers' phones and delay social media as much as possible because many teenagers are talking about suicide and mental health issues with ChatGPT. And we don't know what ChatGPT is telling them. But ChatGPT, the main problem with it, I think that's the word, sycophant. People pleasing. So it tells you what you want to hear and how good you are. So the worst is when couples get on ChatGPT and use it as a communication tool. They get ChatGPT to write their messages, be it to harm and hurt the other person or be it to fix something. But it's not real. It's not authentic. It's artificial. And we need human to human contact. We need nervous systems to co-regulate. So a large part of actually this conversation is safety. And how does safety come in? When your nervous system is present, calm, I feel safe in my own body and life. So when a client walks in, they might pick up unconsciously, they might pick up that energy. ChatGPT doesn't have that energy. It's not a human being. It's not going to co-regulate you. It's a cognitive tool. Mentally, you might feel better and think, "Oh, this is really good. This advice is great." But you've not done any of the work that sustains the problem or creates it. Advice, so you can get off Google also. Instagram is filled with advice. Really, I feel that, human to human cannot be replaced. But however, we also need to look at why are people logging into ChatGPT and asking and talking about personal things. Because they're lost. Maybe there's shame. Maybe there's, they don't have access to therapy or healers.
Maybe there's a lack of trust as well. So,
Absolutely.
When I started using ChatGPT, that was a lack of financial will, not financial resources, but financial will to invest in therapy because of my bruised experiences in the past. And वो जो therapy popping होती है, वो किसी ना किसी reason से होती है. Now, as a therapist, I am sure there have been days when you've challenged the thoughts of your clients and made them feel unsafe in that moment because you're not validating their wrong patterns. If they've said that they've shouted on their mother or they don't the fact that their mother is regulating their finances, or probably you don't like the way that they've treated their father in the past, you are questioning their patterns and you're trying to rewire and reframe them to their best ability and not to a version that you have in your mind of how your perfect life is. That is the difference between a therapist and a regular, Friday night beer table conversation.
Absolutely. But as a therapist, I would always step back from assuming things and judging a client's behavior So I would look at, again, I would get very curious. Why is this person's fight response activated? What's really going on for them? What triggered off the fight response? So I would get curious. I would get compassionate. So empathy and compassion are two very different things. So I would get genuinely compassionate as to, this person is telling me I yelled at my mom. That's a very vulnerable thing to share because, a lot of people can be very judgmental, especially हमारे society में माँ बाप भगवान है, तो, of course, you cannot yell at your mom. And, so there's a lot of vulnerability, and how we hold that vulnerability defines how safe the client feels. So ChatGPT is not going to tell you, "Arey, how could you yell at your mom? Tu chilla kyun di?" It will try to be understanding. That's a very key point.
But I understand, and it will always hold the other person wrong. So I've done this. I've spoken to ChatGPT about my ex. I've spoken to ChatGPT about my boss. I've spoken to ChatGPT about a potential love interest, ChatGPT tries to rationalize, but always
absolutely
at the center, which is something like a YouTube personalization. It's an algorithm. So it is using a math, it is using a code. But where you say that parents have to be aware of their children, their activity, the Soul School partnered with HappyNets, which is एक तरीके से an internet purifier. Water purifier हमारे, because पानी adulterated आ रहा है, urban के areas में भी आ रहा है. So internet is adulterated. There are access to porn sites, and आपके मेरे घर में definitely cable कटता होगा जब exams आते होंगे, या TV बंद हो जाता होगा for that
100%
fortnight. So our parents, because they're at work or they're in their own personal commitments, they might not be able to witness a child. And क्या करेंगे अगर वो बच्चा लैपटॉप लेकर अंदर चला जाता है, रूम बंद करके, he says कि मुझे डिस्टर्ब मत करना, मैं पढ़ाई कर रहा हूँ, and they throw a fit when the parent comes in unannounced. What they can do is that with this device, they can, cut off the internet access for the sites they don't want their child to see. Now, you can say as a therapist, and I can say as a therapist, that this might be data privacy breach or, not respecting the rights of a child. But a 13-year-old does not know their best. That is
no. I have a 13-year-old, and I can tell you that it is my business to be in his business. So,
it is.
I mean, he always says, he said, "Mama, don't come in." I said, "No, it is my business to be in your business. So whether you like it or not, I am here to stay. And you are not allowed on social media." I'm very clear about that.
So my family was absolutely controlling till the time I was 18. The minute I stepped out of into college, I just saw a transition which I couldn't digest. Like, my grandmother was somebody very instrumental in my upbringing. My mother was also a very controlling mother ki marks kyun hai or something. And suddenly they don't really care if I'm interning somewhere, if I'm doing, they're just saying good things about me. Okay. My mother knows everything about my past relationships, from my first boyfriend to the last one. She knows every single person. She's spoken to some people as well. So
your mother has created a lot of safety for you.
Oh my God, I can tell you, my mother is one of the most traumatized people I have come across, because I had a very narcissistic mother-in-law. My dadi was amazing to me, but not amazing to my mother. And that was a mood fluctuation. She was like Donald Trump, okay? Like, किस side के bed से उठेंगी नहीं पता.
Are you sure you want to say this? You might be applying for a US visa.
अब तो मुझे सीधे embassy से call आएगा. It's fine. But the thing here is that my father was also very unpredictable. To me, he was my cheerleader. He used to say कि तू editor-in-chief है, when I was not even a trainee in journalism, but he used to call me editor-in-chief. But at the same time, my mother couldn't predict his behavior, which creates familiarity, creates chaos, and then you search for, being the victim to a narcissist. That is one pattern I've seen with her. But as a woman, I can talk about anything and everything under the sun with her.
Wow, that's amazing.
We've grown in that relationship. And before her, it's my second of kin. She is like a grand mommy of mine. I can talk to her about anything under the sun. I mean, she is so compassionate, so understanding, and so intelligent, and I never feel judged with her. So I've been blessed with an amazing ecosystem of women and who've really raised me, But this ecosystem is lacking, for not just women around us, but also men. The safety aspect, I'm not now talking about men in therapy, okay? Now, I know some therapists who have very good boundaries of not taking male clients because they want to specialize in women therapy. They want to create a safe for women. It's
Mm-hmm.
specialization कि मैं heart patients को ही देखूंगा, मैं cardiologist हूँ. Same way,
Huh.
one of my therapists restricts herself to women but doesn't hold it rigidly. Maybe she can expand, but at a later given time. The
Mm-hmm.
other therapist who trained me to be an ICH, she told me that she sees people as souls, but she's also shared her traumatic experiences of interacting with men. And I had another very great conversation on Instagram with one of my healers. She was an NLP. She told me of how some men at 11 p.m. they will book a session, and she doesn't have a time problem because she works in US and Canada timings as well. But then these men are lying down in a banyan and they're not respecting the therapist. Okay, they're seeing this like maybe that initial fees of like a 499 as a chat bot, a real woman that they can lighten their hearts to, because men are really lonely. They cannot communicate. उनको उनकी community के लोग कह देते हैं कि ये सब बातें करना is not great, or if they open up, they only open up over alcohol. They don't have that safe space in their families to talk, which is why a female companion, an understanding nurturer, is very helpful to them. But वो ट्रांसेंडेंस में बदल सकते हैं, जो हमने डियर जिंदगी में भी देखा था, बट दैट वाज लाइक डॉक्टर जहांगीर एंड द गर्ल. But this case I've seen a lot with my male clients. There is a level of transcendence that happens. They understand me to be their friend. They sometimes fall for me, and they sometimes say uncomfortable things which can make me feel unsafe. So how have you navigated taking male clients and preserving your safety?
Okay, so I'm going to do a disclaimer here. I work a lot with male clients. In fact, male mental health is my area of work. I love working with male mental health. I love working with men. And I've not had too many bad experiences with them. Also, my boundaries are very strong. So I'm very particular about timings. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of women have made me feel very unsafe and violated. So it's not just men. I've had issues with people. I would say people. So it's been men and women. Like a lot of women have been very abusive or very cruel and very mean when they reach out. My clientele, on the other hand, I've been blessed to have the most incredible male clients and female clients. So I haven't really had any issues with male clients. They've been very respectful, maintained my boundaries. Even when I was charging 200 rupees, I've not come across men who've been creepy or sexual in nature or violent towards me. But again, my boundaries are very solid. I have timings that I work. I am very particular about maintaining session times, messaging times. I don't message clients unnecessarily. I don't allow them to message unnecessarily. We have a very structured format in which we do things. And thankfully, I've met the best people. So I would say it's somehow, maybe I've been privileged and lucky.
Definitely. And this is an amazing understanding because every person brings in a different experience. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been very abusive, like not exactly abusive, but very, very disrespectful to my mentor at once because of the money aspect of things. Because somehow I was reared to, really protect money and not spend money. But I have made so much money thanks to all the investment and knowledge and patience that she had with me, which is why my first podcast was with her. Now this brings me to the last question, where I want to
Sure.
understand a very deep aspect of healing. Okay, many people who I've spoken to, especially one of my initial mentors in school, when I told them that now I'm a CEO and I run this whole school, they just said a very simple line to me: Gauri, pivot from this business as soon as you can, because there is a point of no return. And we can have examples like one of the psychologists in Tamil Nadu committed suicide. Then we had the movie I Want to Talk with Abhishek Bachchan, and there was the character of Dr. Nancy, who was helping everyone, thinking of everyone, but then she committed suicide. So, healthcare professionals, you and I are pink collar folks, right? We're burdened with the burdens of not only our lives, because I'm sure आप भी अपने बच्चे की टेंशन अपने हस्बैंड
100%.
लेते हैं. कोल्ड प्ले सबके दिल को छू चुका है कि कुछ भी हो सकता है इस पॉइंट पे, which is why you have your own chaos, you have your own routines, and then there are clients, and of course as you grow, your clientele is also growing. So how do you navigate this space, and how do you see yourself probably, like, probably 5 years or 10 years or 20 years from now?
Well, if I'm alive that long,
I mean, to that you will be.
I hopefully will continue doing the work that I do, because I firmly believe that this is the work I was born to do. I almost died when I was pregnant with my son when I was about 31. So I remember thinking that there's a reason why I'm alive today. And I believe that doing this work is that reason. So I will continue private practice, seeing people online, seeing people offline, working towards better mental health for men and women, of course, and working with people. So a lot of my work is around complex post-traumatic stress. I don't like the word disorder at all, so I'm going to say responses. So CPTSR. And I work with a lot of childhood trauma, parental abuse, cultural abuse. So like you mentioned, narcissistic abuse, relationships, things like that. And I hope to do this work, but I do want to expand to doing body work. So that is something I think AI cannot replace, is body work, because massage therapists, sex workers cannot be replaced, even though they're trying to replace them. And
Yes.
yes, I'm sure you've come across that article. Oh, horrible. But I do plan to become a body worker, which is what I mean by a body worker is somebody who works with the body. It can be through biocraniosacral therapy, body dynamics, somatic experiencing. So things that involve really working in the present moment with the body. So that's what I'm working towards. And I have a certain approach to working with people. And if it's okay, I can share my blog, which has a lot of the content for today uploaded as a blog,
I would
So
love
tools to feel safe
to.
and, the questions that you gave. So just safety, a lot of content around safety. So you can visit my website, which is mansitherapy.com, and find blogs on Indian culture, trauma, our conversation today around how to feel safe, what is safety, things like that. So really continuing this work. And I hope AI doesn't replace me, because the other day somebody reached out and said, oh, very soon there'll be a bot doing your job. I said, well, it doesn't sound very nice. I wouldn't want a bot as a therapist, but okay.
I just started in May this concept, of the Soul School, but I've been, on and off taking therapy, giving therapy also. I also realized, somewhere down the line that I'm a very good advisor, and I specialize in career. So somebody I was just, on a drive with, and they were like, Ki, why don't you charge for your therapy consultations, for your career therapy in a way? And then I realized that, I really specialize in it, but also I am good at my Lakshman, which is the relationships, because I have my own journey and I have my own manifestations of, attracting the right partner for myself, and, those boundaries and every single thing. So I can tell you that AI has become a very instrumental tool for, preserving your own assets in the way of not hiring somebody as an intern and training them. The AI picks your language. Apart from that, there can be AI automated voices. There are already AI automated video generations.
Yeah.
It is taking up a lot of the space, even in newsrooms, even in, marketing. But what AI cannot replace is the human touch. It is the same thing as
Absolutely.
a machine made Zudio product versus a handcraft, a khadi product. So वो difference जरूर आएगा. वो चिकन कारी जो हाथ की कढ़ाई है, उसके लिए नीता अंबानी can spend like 22 crores. So वो एक प्रीमियम बायर है अभी भी आपके और मेरे काम के लिए. Because we do come at a premium, at a price. AI might not exhaust, वैसे free में they do exhaust the limit of the GPT responses, but still it is an advanced Google search. It is like Google came to replace the library, but still library का मजा library में ही है. Same way, Google search का मजा Google search में ही है. And talking to a therapist is an experience. It cannot be replaced by a bot. This person might just be trying to talk to
a bot cannot have a nervous system as of now.
Yeah.
And they cannot have life experiences. They've never had their heart broken. They've never had
life experience,
pain, shame, none of that.
Yeah.
They've never been abused. They've not dealt with the world. They don't have life experience. They have nothing. And so they don't come with compassion. They don't have any compassion.
Huh, GPT says this. I
Yeah.
asked GPT that will you replace my work? He said I cannot, replicate the kind of warmth that you bring to a room or into a conversation. So that and human touch की value है. आप बना दीजिए एक robot, but it will not bring the kind of intimacy. And उसके लिए her movie I recommend everyone to watch. That OS replaces a wife, but can it replace a wife? And what is it making us humans to be? Us humans are so used to personalization. Here is where a little brain challenge will really help, understanding a new person, dating a new person, going out on a date on an actual coffee rather than
Mm-hmm.
just 11 in the night texting to release yourself, because uske liye to there are different websites as well. But Mansi, it's been such a liberating conversation, because what you and I, when you talk about Indian culture, we're bringing this to the table. We're bringing our work, be it yoga, be it working with nature, working with our own selves, physical work rather than just mental overthinking, because our clients have exercised this muscle a lot. तभी वो हमारे पास आए हैं. But ये वाली muscle जब exercise होती है, hands and feet and everything, that is where the real liberation comes in, because weight control has a lot of association with, not just depression, but also hypertension and diabetes and all of
Mm-hmm.
those diseases. And what you and I are doing, I can say point blank, is preventing people from cancers and tumors and probably traumatic experiences in their next birth, because mummies के भी Egyptian coffins में gold and honey रह जाता है, but what you carry with your body, even though you're cremated or buried, is your experiences. And you and I are refining those experiences, cutting off from the past, making a better future, which is why we deserve that credit. Like we deserve this pat on our backs. And I love the work that you do. I love your Instagram so much, like how clean you keep it and how invested you are in, communicating the message. And I'm sure that, people like you and I are improving the world and gonna leave it better when we leave this
I would
planet.
hope so.
I know it. I already know it. And thank you so much, Mansi, for doing this with us. We will catch up soon. We do a quarterly review of
Absolutely.
all of our guests कि आगे क्या change हुआ है. And I'm sure new problems will be facing us, but we'll be more resilient with our solutions.
Well, I just hope a bot doesn't replace us, but outside of that, we should be good. All right. Thank you so much for having me, Gauri.
Thank you so much, Mansi.